Hello everyone, I'm Black Marvin, and today is a really nice day because there's a new plugin out from Kilohearts. So that's really cool. It's called Non-Linear Filter, and we're gonna look at it. I'm gonna show you an overview. I'm gonna show you how you can use it in Faceplant, how you can almost swap regular filter with this one, the benefits, and finally I'm gonna do a multiband non-linear exciter inside multipass. So let's go. This is it, non-linear filter. It's the latest addition to the Kilohearts family. In my head, I was picturing an analog filter, or let's say, if you know the ladder filter, I was picturing another version of it, or like I felt something along those lines was coming soon for Kilohearts. So I'm really happy to have that. So to explain that plugin very easily to you, it is a filter with color that you can add. And by color in music like this, what we mean is some different behavior than just a regular digital filter, than the regular filter from Kilohearts. So we have different color algorithms, and we still have the regular parameter, you know, the cutoff, the Q, and the drive, and they affect the filtering color or the filtering behavior. And we have some really good visual feedback about that here. So just to make sure we're on the same point, cutoff is the point where the frequency is being affected by the filter. We have 4 different filter types here, and that doesn't change from a regular filter. Q here doesn't change from a regular filter necessarily, because you have the cutoff point. Well, Q is going to be some resonance at the cutoff point. But the difference from a regular filter here is that the Q with different algorithms, it is going to have some special behavior, but you know, it's going to be, you'll see, it's going to have a lot of stuff, and when you modify the Q, it affects the filtering. And basically, drive is how much of that non-linear and odd behavior you want. So for example, if we take that saturated mode, still there's not a lot of drive. We still have quite a regular filter shape. And if we dial up the drive, we have that nice overdrive, and it's gonna add a lot of color. We're gonna test it on sound very soon. So to test it, I have a ARP I did here. It's called Thick as Thieves, and it sounds like this without the filter. And then I'm gonna add some filter and move the cutoff and the Q around. I'm gonna quickly toggle over all the mode in the filter, and it's quite easy because if you up your mouse over a new mode, it's gonna switch right away. It gives you a nice idea of the potential of that plugin, and since it's a Kilohearts plugin, you can of course include it in everything that is Kilohearts. So inside Faceplant, Snap Heap, and Multipass. So I'm gonna go inside Faceplant, and I'm gonna swap a ladder filter for a non-linear filter, and we're gonna see how much more character we can get with it. This preset is called Mindfire, and it's you can see that pretty much the whole preset is being articulated through that ladder filter here. There's a lot going on, but filtering wise, that's where it's happening. So I'm gonna mute that, and I'm gonna get a non-linear filter, and now the preset is gonna go through this one. So this is this. I'm gonna give it the same modulation, and we're gonna go through all the modes and see how different it sounds. So I really like the warm mode. In that case, sometimes you will want a bit more character. There's some really aggressive modes like digital, metallic, fuzzy, even biased. It's quite I would say aggressive. You know, you can see it's doing a lot. But in that case, warm is really good too. And for me now, it's pretty much gonna. You can see that I use the ladder filter a lot because I wanted that warm and kind of creamy analog style filter that the regular filter could not provide. But now I can guess that the non-linear filter is pretty much going to swap this for me. And the ladder filter only have that low pass mode, and the non-linear filter have all these filtering algorithms. And we can quickly see with the band pass and the other ones, even the notch. So if you want to add some dirt or some grit or just more character to the sound with the non-linear filter, you can do all this. That's really amazing. So just to demonstrate how powerful this plugin is now that you can use it in the whole Kilohearts ecosystem, I made a multiband non-linear filter exciter. So first thing I want to say is that in that case, you can hear there's some kind of weird phasing behavior when it's not completely on off. So yeah, I would suggest you use it at like an on off switch because when it's all the way up, it sounds good. Second thing is, since it's adding a lot of excitement after that, you might want to grab a parametric EQ and remove some resonant frequencies because it might bring up more resonance, especially if you're working with an already resonant sound like an acid arpeggiator, for example. So basically what I did, since I had a great visual feedback, I selected some algorithms, I dialed up some drive, and I made sure it was being affected by the non-linear filter when the signal was passing through. I'm going to show you, for example, on the I band, what kind of excitement is going on. So it's bringing out a lot of crispiness that is really nice. I'm going to show you now the mid band, and this is where you need to be careful because you're adding a lot of disturbances in the sound. It can sound good, but you can at some point damage the sound and create some weird resonance. So this is a correct amount, but I'm going to show you what happens if you put too much. It starts to resonate. So with the proper amount, it adds a nice mid crunch presence. And since not all the sounds are the same, I added a mid emphasis macro that dials up the drive. If you can push it more on your sound, like on this sound, I cannot really push it more, but for different sounds, you can maybe push it a little bit further. So you have a mid emphasis macro available. And finally, the low band. So to summarize, I made sure I had a good overview of what was passing through the filters, and I made sure there was enough excitement, but not too much, so I don't damage the sound. So that's it. That was just a couple of things you can do, but there's so many things we can do, and because of the way that the Kilohearts plugin works, Now it's part of the ecosystem, so it's not just a filter with different algorithms. It's so many possibilities that you can now inject inside your preset, inside Faceplant, inside Multipass, Snap Heap, name it. So if you want to stay tuned with my music and this kind of content, you can subscribe to that channel. And you can also join 2 of my groups. The first one is my fan group. It's called Black Marvin's Friends. I post a lot of stuff there, some secret stuff, some personal stuff. And the second one is Black Marvin's Apprentices. It's my Patreon, and the preset I did, the non-linear multi-band exciter, is going to be available there for all community members. There's more than that. There's some one-to-one mentoring there for you. There's some tutorials, there's some presets, and a community. We really support each other, so you can join one of those groups if you want to stay up and get involved. And if you don't, that's totally fine. I will see you in another video. Cheers.